Hey everyone, and welcome to your Motivation Monday. Have you guys ever had a match day where it feels like nothing is going right? You leave at what you think is the right time and you get caught in traffic. Get to the field late, throws off your warm up, throws off your pregame, and everything just goes by the wayside. You check the weather, it was supposed to be clear and sunny, suddenly you see rain clouds coming in. These kinds of things happen all the time. And it's just one of the things before the match that can throw us off our game. And then you have the match itself. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what's going on. People are unhappy. Players are griping about calls you should make, calls you shouldn't make. Coaches are doing the same. The spectators are on your back. Every whistle or no whistle. And they are crying out for anything. These kinds of things are distracting. And when we let them take our focus and when we give them our energy and we worry about them, it means that we're no longer giving our energy where it needs to be put. So, how do we do this? Well, a mentor of mine a very long time ago shared with me a simple phrase, and it kind of zapped me right back into reality a little bit. And that is control your controllables. It's a mindset shift that will help you realize that even though there are things that are going to happen that can cause chaos with your pregame, cause chaos with the match itself, can basically make the game very difficult to manage. We have to accept the fact that there are things that we can't control. And that when we put our focus on those things and try to control them as best as we can, we end up losing focus on the things that we can control. And when you shift your mindset to keeping where we can control things, that's when you're going to have a much better match and you're going to have a much better time on the field. So let's think about some of the things that we can control. We can control our preparedness. We can control having the all-weather gear in our bag or in our cars. We can control making sure that we're ready for any surface, having our studs, having our turf shoes, having just regular gym shoes, making sure that you're prepared with plenty of water, making sure that you're prepared with sunscreen should you need it, or additional layers if it's cold out. All of these things help us prepare for those crazy weather events that sometimes pop up. And it helps us to maintain our control on the situation that we can and not necessarily worrying about the things that we can't. Another thing with preparation is your training, because if you are not prepared in terms of being able to run, move around on the field, you're going to run into things that maybe should be controllable, but you simply don't have the opportunity to. Because we can control our position on the field so that when we review a sequence or when we're looking at a play, that we're in position, in a credible position, to be making the decision that we need to be making. We can control our focus. By controlling our focus and not letting crowd noise and not letting coaches really get into our heads and not letting players manipulate their thoughts and making sure that they're getting calls or not getting calls, or, oh, you should caution them instead of them, and so forth, right? Players know how to play those mind games, so do coaches, and it all plays into the atmosphere of the match. When you give the players and the coaches and the atmosphere that kind of control over your mindset, you start to sacrifice what is your objectivity in making decisions that are equitable to both sides. When it comes time to making sure that we're focusing on these things, we can't control other behavior. We cannot control the way they're playing. We can only control our focus and making sure that we're staying focused on the sequence at hand, how players are playing, and the decisions that we're making in response to that play. Now, of course, we have to listen to behavior. We have to pay attention to it because that can lead to other things. And if we ignore it for too long, it can blow up in our faces. So when I say we can't control behavior, it's not to ignore it. It's to make sure that we're controlling our reaction to it. Because if we overreact to it, we lose control. Players don't buy into our style, and ultimately they'll take matters into their own hands. Or they'll continue griping, complaining, moaning, what have you. And then we have a decision to make whether or not we start having to pull cautions for that behavior if we can no longer manage it with our personality. These things are tough. We have to find a balance between paying attention to behavior but not letting it control our reactions. Just another element that we have control over, right? So we can control our preparedness. We can control our focus on the play. And we can also control our reactions. When we stay calm and composed across all of it, we are prepared, we have the movement and the positioning on the field to be decisive, and then we have the calm and composed reactions to anything that's going on. It helps us maintain our confidence in our decisions. And when we can do that, when we maintain our decisions, we maintain our credibility, we maintain our objectivity, those three things will start to lead to a much better performance for you in the long run. I once had a game. I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I'll say it because it's true. The hardest game that I ever had to manage was a U9 girls tournament final. It was a very competitive match. The atmosphere was great. The parents were very passionate. I'll use passionate as the best word for that. And the coaches were aggressive. They wanted to win. And then there was the players. The players didn't give a toss about any of it. They were there. They wanted to play the game. That's it. They didn't really play with intensity that it was a tournament final. They didn't. It was everyone else putting that atmosphere together for them. Now, with these little kids, right? Cards are meaningless. They don't control a match. They're not doing anything. You'll have a little girl in puddles at your feet if you show a card. And yet the coaches didn't care. They wanted me pulling cards for reckless tackles and for trips and for to send off a girl for being the last defender and tripping her and so on and so forth. I had to shut out the noise. I had to let myself find the focus of focusing on the play and allowing these girls to say, hey, we can drown out the noise. Your parents are excited for you. That's great. Your coaches want you to win. That's okay. But let's learn how to play the game and play it the right way so that we don't have to worry about any of the other stuff, right? So for me, I turned it into a learning opportunity for these players. And when the coach's behavior got to a point where I had to address it, I was calm, I was composed, and I was able to tell the coach, listen, I understand it's a competitive tournament. I understand that you're a competitive club coach, but we're still going to use this opportunity to teach these little girls how to play the game. And we're not going to be doing something that the game doesn't expect. Cards aren't going to work here. And the fact that you're asking for them is a little bit of a problem. Let's make sure that we're focusing on the game at hand. Focus on your players. Let me call the game, and we'll get through this. Now, of course, this coach was not very happy with me in saying that. I don't know if I said those exact words, but it was basically the same, this moment to say, hey, calm down. Let's let this game be what it is. A learning experience, a good tournament final. And it was a good tournament final. I think the final score was like 4-3 or 5-3. It was competitive up till kind of the last couple minutes when the home team put a couple shots past the goalkeeper. It happens. That's how it works. But without having the focus, that calm composure, that energy was going to essentially devour anyone else who was there, and it would have. So by staying confident and staying composed and staying in position for the entirety of the game, granted it was a small-sided field, so that wasn't that difficult, I was able to really let this match be what it was, to let it calm down, to be able to address the behavior of the coaches. The fans, I just ignore because we can't control what they do unless someone's being extraordinarily inappropriate. Passion is passion. They want to see their kid win. I can't blame them for that. So we just let them do their thing. We focus on the benches, we focus on the players, and we had a great match. So that story for me kind of tells you everything in a nutshell about what it means to control your controllables. I had no control over the fans. I had no control over the fact that it was a U9 girls final. I had no control over the fact that the coach wanted to behave in such a manner as if it were a World Cup final. I was able to manage everything, keep things calm, and ultimately we had a good game in front of us that we were able to have a great experience with. And I hope that those little girls who are now, they got to be in college by now, but still, I hope that I helped them learn a thing or two about how that game gets played. So, again, when it comes time, if we are prepared, if we have all the gear that we need, if we've done all the training that we need, if we're in position and we're moving with play and we're able to be in that credible position, right? And if we are able to maintain our calm, composed reactions to anything that's going on the field, we're going to have a lot better experience. And we as referees, the more we focus on that stuff and not all the extraneous, for lack of a better term, chaos around us, the better we will be. Master the things that you can control, and you will have a much, much better experience. So do me a favor. Think about the last game that you had where maybe there was something a little out of left field happening. Think about some ways that you did respond, and think about what went well in that match. Think about what maybe you could have done a little bit differently to enhance your control or enhance your performance in that match. And finally, what do you think works best for you in terms of controlling your mindset to be able to focus that you can take into the next game based on what, that previous game that you're thinking of. So drop a comment below. Let me know how you tune out the noise. Let me know how you focus on your controllables. And let me know so that everyone here can start to learn. Because ultimately, if we learn to control our controllables, we are 90% of the way there to having a fantastic refereeing career. I look forward to seeing you guys for What's Your Call Wednesday and Infringement Friday, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. If you guys need anything, feel free and drop me a comment, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the week.